أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على محمد وآله الطاهرين، لا سيما بقية الله الحجة ابن الحسن فداه أرواح العالمين، واللعن الدائم على أعدائهم أبد الآبدين ودهر الداهرين. اللهم صل على فاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها بعدد ما أحاط به علمك. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة، وليا وحافظا وقادا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا تمتع فيها طويلا. Allah says in Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم. How should we deal with people? Should we be very suspicious about them? Should we trust them? I'd like to give you some practical answers. Yes, be nice, be hopeful, be optimistic. It doesn't work nowadays. As the commander of the faithful Ali ibn Abi Talib says, when he talks about Akhir al-Zaman, he says, إن لم تكن ذئبا أكلتك الذئاب. If you do not act as wolf, then wolf will eat you while you're alive. إن لم تكن ذئبا. So should we be like them? No. Of course, the commander of the faithful didn't mean that. So how should we be? Should we be very, suspicious about everything, every action, every saying, or no? Listen, Quranic teaching is clear. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن. Avoid too many assumptions. One, assumptions. Why you have to avoid too many of them, and what does it mean to avoid too many of assumptions, too many of bad thinking about people? Because some of the thinking is haram. That's why you have to avoid, to make sure that you don't have su'u al-dhan in a believer. Thus, you have to avoid the vast majority of what? Of assumptions. Just to make sure that you are not accusing a believer with something that he's not intending to do, or he did not intend to do. So يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم. So how should we act? Don't act in accordance to your suspicion. Ijtinab means that. Ijtinab al-hasad. Well, I feel, the envy in my heart. How should I act? Don't act in accordance to the envy that you feel in your heart. So ijtinab. So I'm trying to interpret this verse. Ijtinab al-dhan, or su' al-dhan, means do not act in accordance to your suspicion. For instance, let me give you a very simple example. When you go across or pass across one of your friends, and you feel that he noticed you, but he didn't say salam to you. Okay, he did that deliberately. Okay, this is su'u dhan. You don't know, because probably he did not. Even 10% is enough to say that probably he did not notice me. Probably he noticed me, but he was, overthinking about something. He couldn't recognize me. He wasn't paying attention. So next time when I see him, I salute him. I don't avoid the salam, because I assume that he avoided saying salam to me. So this is ijtinab al-dhan. Practically, ijtinab al-dhan. However, that doesn't mean that you have to trust him. You are in Akhir al-Zaman. If you give him money, write it down. If you borrow money of him and then you started to pay him slowly, payment, installment, write it down. Well, you don't trust me? I do. But I'm doing what is necessary. So we have to distinguish between trusting and accusing. We have to be in the middle. In Akhir al-Zaman, in the era of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, no, you can trust everyone. In the era of, let's say, Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, maybe you can trust the vast majority of people. But what about today? I don't think so. You cannot trust everyone. You need to make sure. You need to act rationally. Trust is, you trust your brother when you give him the key of your car. You don't ask him to write it down. Okay, I gave you, okay, can you witness that? Because you really trust him, that's okay. But what about believers who I don't know that much? Can I trust them? No. Unless if you know them very well. Can I accuse them? No. They are believers. It's terrible. So, between trusting fully and accusing, there is a middle road that we have to take in this era. And that road is not accusing, but not trusting as well. So I'm not accusing him. That's why I act as if that incident haven't occurred or hasn't occurred. Or he says something, especially in WhatsApp when they write. I've experienced that several times. So we are chatting, we're talking. The way that he writes is different to the way that he says. Okay? So you think that he's taking it seriously. But it's not. This is not the case. And suddenly we just notice that, it's because of the writing. Okay, let's go back to before, okay? Let's talk face to face when we meet each other. Don't write. Because if somebody writes to you, I really didn't like what you did, I can say, okay, I really didn't like what you said. And I can say, I really didn't like what you said. So if I write that, you might read it, I really didn't like what you said. But I meant, I really didn't like what you said, This is called لحن القول. Allah talks about that. وَلَا تَعْرِفَنَّهُمْ فِي لَحْنِ الْقَوْلِ. And that's why we have books called Amali. Amali al-Saduq, Amali al-Mufid. What was Amali al-Saduq and Amali al-Mufid? They used to read narrations to the students. It's not dictation, it's punctuations. It's like editing the saying. Stop when you have to stop. ولا تقربوا النساء حتى يطهرن or حتى يطهرن. We have two reading. If حتى يطهرن, it means that when they finish their period, a man can go to his wife. But if حتى يطهرن, it means they have to do the ghusl. So what was the recitation? What was the revelation? That's why reading narrations. I can remember once I've heard that of a marja', a narration, I liked it. Yeah. If I can remember the narration. So he took that of, for instance, his teacher from his teacher, and etc. Probably the chain goes all the way down to what? To the ma'soom. So it's not enough to become a mujtahid by reading. You need to study, you need to listen. Because I don't know how should I read. Is this a question? For instance, let me talk about Quran. Well, our class is Quran. فلما رأى الشمس بازغة قال هذا ربي. When he saw the sun, big sun, لما رأى القمر طالعا قال هذا ربي. Okay, they say, yeah, it was a mistake by Prophet Ibrahim. Ahlul Bayt explained that to us in a way that we can know how we should read that. If I have to recite Quran, brother Wasi, Sayyid Wasi, because he's Quran teacher, I would read it like that. Because Ahlul Bayt said, he said that as a question. فلما رأى الشمس بازغة قال هذا ربي. It's a huge difference. Opposite meaning. هذا ربي. هذا ربي. هذا ربي. Do you want me to worship this? This? If I can find, I was listening to a recitation. Yeah. I can remember once one of my cousins told me that. Probably he learned that from one of his teachers when we were kids, say Jawad. There's a surah chapter in Quran, يا ليتها كانت القاضية. When a good reciter reads قاضية, it's as if he's begging. Yeah, exactly. With that's why Allah said وَلَتَعْرِفَنَّهُمْ فِي لَحْنِ الْقَوْلِ. When they say, my grandfather used to say, okay, because we have in a Quran about Alam al-Dhar. So it's substantial, it's proven, no one can deny it. Even Sunni have narrations about that. We have more than 2,000 narrations about Alam al-Dhar. My teacher used to say, Allama al-Hurr al-Amili, the author of Wasail al-Shia, said more than 1,000. My teacher said I found more than 2,000 narrations about Alam al-Dhar, Alam al-Arwah, Alam al-Ashbah. And my grandfather used to explain that because Allah introduced himself to everyone. وَإِذْ أَخَذَ in Surah Al-A'raf, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, verse 172. وإذ أخذ ربك من بني آدم من ظهورهم ذريتهم وأشهدهم على أنفسهم ألست بربكم قالوا بلى. Some people said, my grandfather said, قالوا بلى. Some people said, بلى. They said بلى, but they didn't accept it from the bottom of their hearts. So big difference between بلى and بلى. So why I'm bringing this, the whole topic, to understand when you write, when you message, especially if you have a dispute with somebody, don't take it, don't make any assumptions. اجتنبوا بعض الظن إن اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم. You got me? واضح؟ So how should we act these days? No su'u dhan. Su'u dhan is wrong. But can we trust everyone? Some people, they expose themselves to damage because they trust everyone while they don't have to trust everyone. They're not allowed to act in accordance to their assumption, but that's different. I don't have any bad. If somebody comes to me and tells me that, do you like this person? I don't hate him. I don't know him. Why should I hate him? No, do you like him? Why should I like him? I'm neutral. As we say in Arabic, Musa bdina wa Isa bdina. Yeah. Prophet Musa has his own religion, and Prophet Jesus has his own religion. It's not my business. Good luck. I don't have any feeling towards him. Sometimes we have to be like that. Should we trust? No. But if I don't trust, doesn't mean that I'm accusing. It's big different. But sometimes not trusting means accusations as well. So if somebody in front of everyone comes and borrows $10 off you, let's say a founder of a mosque, can you give me $10? I'd like to give to this beggar. So okay, let's write it down. Seriously? sometimes this would be considered as accusations. And I've seen people. So what I'm telling you, I'm talking with you about things that I saw in my life. This is accusation. This is belittling that person. You know? But sometimes it's not. Okay, borrow me $1,000. Okay, can we write it down with all due respect? You don't trust me? I do. But I might forget. You might forget. You know? I might die. You might die. It's not about trusting. It's about what? What is appropriate? What is the appropriate action that we have to do? We have to take. Is to write it down. It's $1,000, you know. At least you can buy 25 times the SI with it. For instance, for those who love SIs. At least you can do something with it. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم. And a person who really listens to these teachings, slowly, his akhlaq and manners would reflect the teachings of Quran. Slowly. And again, I will reiterate what I said in the first session that we sat here, talking about the ethical verses. Thus, the Prophet is the talking Quran, because he reflects the teachings of Quran in his actions and saying. So when we say Ahlul Bayt Adlul Quran, we mean that because they know the teachings of Quran and they act in accordance to the teachings of Quran. So it's not something that it's a claim. We have to go and see the narrations, the chain of the narrations. No, it's history, undeniable history. The Ahlul Bayt had very good akhlaq. That used to be in accordance to Quranic teachings. Just imagine that you get the chance, the tawfiq, to act in accordance to just this part of this single verse. How flowery would be or can be the world, our world. Because sometimes we as a human being punish people not because they did something wrong, because we assume they might do something bad. And thus Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam said, Imam Ali and other Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam said, that we are not willing to punish somebody who might have an intention to kill us, because he's still not our killers. Imam Ali said, when he told this is the man who would kill me. They said, okay, we're going to kill him. Then Imam Ali said, إذن قتلتم غير قاتلي. He hasn't done anything wrong yet. إذن قتلتم غير قاتلي. We have that in قصاص القصاص قبل الجناية. Can you punish somebody before he commits any sins? Put him in a prison because he might want to commit sins? No. Might want to steal? No, you can't. The whole world would change if people, and if a community, let's not talk about the whole world, people of this mosque, people of our community, try to understand and comprehend this verse and act in accordance to the teaching in this verse. It's going to be a very nice world. Magnificent. While the world that we are living now in, I think it's better for us to die with dignity than to live here with the humiliations. Because of people's actions, people's thinking, people's assumptions, and etc. صلى اللهم على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.